Hello and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Today we're taking a look at the opposition strategy. After the Lok Sabha results, there was much goodwill and much optimism amongst the opposition, especially the Congress. But soon after that, the four recent assembly elections, somehow that high and the what you call the opposition unity seems to have dwindled. What is at stake here? Is it because the Congress is focused and insisting only on the Adani issue? Is it because people like Akhilesh Yadav have lost trust in the Congress after they didn't win Haryana? Other allies also like Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar seem to be doing a rethink. At the end of the day, it is winning elections that really matters. That is something we're going to be discussing on the panel today. Joining me on the show is Rasheed Kidwai. He is an author and a political analyst. We have Mr. Pavan Varma. He is a former Rajya Sabha member and also a keen political observer and a columnist. Ashutosh, he is the founding editor of satyahindi.com. Ashutosh, what does it look like to you? Why is the opposition floundering and whose responsibility is it to keep the India alliance together?
Thank you, Priya. I think the much bigger question needs to be asked. First of all, because the role of opposition is important in democracy. But we have to keep our hands on our heart, and we should ask a question whether we are really breathing in a democratic space. If we could answer that question, only then we could be in a position to realize that how the role of opposition has changed, or the opposition is really functioning or not. In my opinion, the democratic space which used to be very vibrant in India, that space has shrunk beyond recognition. And within that space, everybody wants that opposition should function. Now, the issue is opposition in the parliament and outside the parliament. How can it make itself, its presence, that people should realize that opposition do exist? Either you hit the road, or you raise your voice in the parliament. If they're raising their voice in the parliament, who's going to listen? Nobody's going to listen. There is no debate. There is no discussion. Both the presiding officers are not willing to give any space to the opposition. Rather, one of the presiding officer is even calling the leader of opposition as a member of a deep state. So when the situation has come to this far, then obviously it's not that opposition is to be blamed for everything. The second point is why we always think, and why everybody think, that it is a Congress responsibility that opposition should be united. Is it not the responsibility of Sharad Pawar? Is it not the responsibility of the Uddhav Thackeray? Is it not the responsibility of Mamta Banerjee and Akhilesh Yadav? Why only Congress should be blamed? That's my fundamental question. And if you look at the Maharashtra election this time, what the Sharad Pawar's contribution is? What is the contribution of Uddhav Thackeray? Uddhav Thackeray contested 23 seats and got how many? 9. Congress contested 17 seats and got 13. And Sharad Pawar contested 10 and got 8. So everybody has to come together. Everybody has to realize the enormity of the situation. If everybody is not realizing, Mamta Banerjee sitting in Bengal in saying, if I am given a chance, then I can handle the opposition better than the Congress. Then why don't you do this? Take initiative, na? What initiative he has taken? What initiative she has taken? What initiative Sharad Pawar has taken? What initiative Uddhav Thackeray has taken? It's very easy to criticize Congress party. But at least Congress party, if Adani issue should not be raised, Adani issue should not be fought, then which issue should be fought? I just want to know. This is a clear hypocritical stand taken by the Indian media and many of the columnists and many of the journalists of them. If Adani issue is not important in this country in the last so many months, then which issue is important? And which issue the opposition is raising if leave Rahul Gandhi aside? Here is the second richest man. He has been issued an arrest warrant from the court in America. The National Security Advisor, there is a notice issued against the National Security Advisor from American court. The Securities and Exchange Commission of the America is after Gautam Adani. Now the issue is what should be done? Should it not be discussed? The one news item from the Swedish radio came in long back, after 30 years back. And that became a big hero, big story. And every news company has sent their reporters to dig out more stories. Today, the most of the mainstream media is out to prove that Adani is right. Rahul Gandhi, Congress and opposition were raising that issue are wrong. If that is the space, what can the opposition do?
Okay. We have also with us Pavan Varma. We can't see him, लेकिन आवाज बुलंद है Pavan, so we can all hear you. And you are someone who has been with the opposition, worked with them, worked with these very parties. Ashutosh says the onus should be on other people and not just the Congress. Do you agree with him, or do you think, as the largest national party, it is the Congress and the opposition that should take the initiative?
Thank you, Priya. It's always easier to speak when you're not being seen. But I'm sure you substitute me
That's
by.
the success of Twitter.
Uh, we are all victims of technology sometimes, but I do have a point of view.
जी.
I don't disagree with Ashutosh that the democratic space, as he put it, or the functioning of democracy, or the space for the opposition faces challenges. But I think it's been too long for the opposition to take this situation as an alibi to do far more to organize itself far better, both in terms of organization and ideology. Uh, there is no doubt that the BJP has a pan Indian organizational structure
Hmm.
in most parts of the country, I would say, and it has an ideology to guide it. Um, what seems to have happened in the opposition is that in the absence of an overarching strong national party opposing the BJP, the opposition has fragmented into state level satraps who are fighting their tough battles on a smaller stage rather than as an opposition which is all India. And I think that is to the advantage of the BJP because it divides the opposition. And we have seen what happened in Haryana. We have seen the internal contradictions in Maharashtra. We are seeing what is going to happen in UP and what did happen in the bypolls, where the opposition is actually fighting for space for leadership in a situation where pan Indian leadership is absent, which was earlier occupied by the Congress party. So you do have a situation where the opposition needs to introspect as well. Now, if either we say that the democratic space has very constricted and don't look into the mirror as far
Hmm.
as we are concerned. I mean, Haryana is a classic example of perfecting the art of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And you
Right.
can't blame the BJP for it. I'm sorry. 4 weeks before the elections, the prediction was that the Mr. Huda is getting somewhere in the vicinity of, I would say, 56 to 60 seats. Everything unraveled in the next 6 weeks for complete lack of management and overconfidence and complacency. And by the way, Haryana had a domino effect on Maharashtra as well. So I do not disagree with Ashutosh. I mean, if to give a counter example, during
Hmm.
Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's magnificent ascent to power, uh, the BJP was reduced to 2 seats, but it had ideology and it continued to expand grassroots space. What methodologies it employed to implement its ideology, you can question, you can differ with, you can oppose, but its aim was focused, its goal was clear, the task was difficult, but it was pursued finally, and you see today what the results are. By complete contrast, the last time the Congress party got an absolute majority on its own was 1984. And it's been a downhill trend ever since. And one of the great mysteries of political life in India is for the Congress to actually believe that in some manner it won the last 2024 election with 99 seats, with almost no organizational level of competence in the key North Indian states. So I really feel that the time has come for not clutching at straws and taking a hard look at the opposition itself in its performance.
Rasheed, where are you on this debate? Is even the 24 win, how much was it the Congress and how much was it the Congress on the crutches of allies at the end of the day? And moving forward, regional allies have their own compulsion. Akhilesh would rather discuss Sambal rather than, the other people who discuss farmers' issues. So seems to be a disconnect. Because there's no coordination committee, what is happening? What is wrong?
Absolutely. I think, Priya, you have hit the nail. The Congress has not done enough to sort of democratize that India alliance, relationship. There is no, process and structure in place. This is not to take away what Ashutosh is saying, democracy coming under threat and all. That all is there. But you see, the combined opposition and Congress in particular is happy to be unhappy. And it's a very sort of easy narrative. Any kind of debacle, anything happens, then you go on all those very, whether it is EVM or institutions and all, and once sort of this, and at party forum talking about transparency, accountability, but once it's over, then it's back to square one, nothing. So the grand old party is allergic to change and reform. See, uh, all alliances in India, the alliance politics in India is based on position of strength, and it's also about the process of accommodation. The Congress has not set up, in spite of a lot of internal and external pressures, a sort of India Alliance Secretariat, India Alliance convener, India Alliance sort of office bearers. And all those things have been, there's a lot of ad hocism in terms of sort of even a small thing like boycotting certain channels or individuals and all. There is a lot of ad hocism. We see the same characters and same individuals giving interviews, etc. This is just to illustrate a point. So I think democracy is under threat, but there is a lot of comfort level. The Congress president is also leader of opposition. There is a one man one post norm is there, and he's going to be there. His Rajya Sabha term is there till 27, and his Congress president term is there till October end of 26. So what I'm saying is there is a lot of comfort zone, and therefore it is not. And one can say a lot about Adani or business house, industrial house. Priya, in electoral politics, you see, it is the outcome that determines everything. So in Mumbai, Dharavi and all was made a big, sort of a project. So you can go on talking about ethics, propriety, morality, but you need to look at things in electoral terms. Are these issues bringing electoral dividends? And that is where I have a problem, because I can say more about Congress party. It has largely outsourced its election strategy, talking points, selection of candidates to strategists who have no one not stakeholders. You look at, and they do everything, and Congress does it. How is it possible? How am I to believe, as a sort of a citizen, a student of Indian politics, that Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge wanted to have an alliance with Arvind Kejriwal in Haryana, but they both were vetoed. Can you believe this? And if they were vetoed, if Bhupendra Hooda had done it, if Shailja had done something, what about taking any kind of action? Here you will be surprised that the kind of fact-finding Congress panels of that had gone into the causes of parties' defeat in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh election in 2023. They have not submitted their reports.
And even the CWC that had the meeting didn't have the CLP leaders of Haryana and Maharashtra, present when they were discussing the debacle. So this whole committee, Ashutosh, the way Congress lacks maybe the organization. I was hearing, I think your interview with someone that this rot began maybe 30 years ago. I think Rajdeep was saying that it's not now.
Yeah, frankly speaking, Congress has never been known for its organizational muscle power. I think we just assume that since the BJP has got an organization, so every organization should have an. Congress is basically a sentiment in this country, and see, so every party has its own DNA. Every party has its own way of functioning. Every party has something which is very unique of itself. The Congress stand in this country for the secular polity and secular sensibilities of this country. I think, and majority of the countrymen, they believe into that secular sensibility. The problem is, I can understand there is a problem with the Congress, but there's absolutely no doubt on that issue. But my question is, are we willing to accept the fact that the opposition which was working during the Rajiv Gandhi's time and the opposition which is working in today's time, these are the two different word altogether. Unfortunately, people are not willing to accept that unless we realize that situation where opposition, the leader of opposition is called as the biggest traitor. Have you heard something like this when Rajiv Gandhi was there? Have even there was so much
राजीव गांधी को
democratic.
चोर तो बुलाया था.
चोर बुलाया था. किसने बुलाया था राजीव गांधी को चोर? अपोजिशन ने बुलाया था. अपोजिशन ने बुलाया था. माय पॉइंट इज कि यहां पे एक ऐसी सिचुएशन है जिसमें हम एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करना चाहते कि इस देश के अंदर पॉलिटिक्स चेंज हो गई, इस देश के अंदर सब कुछ चेंज हो गया. देयर वाज अ कैग. यू रिमेंबर कैग रिपोर्ट व्हेन राजीव गांधी वाज देयर? You remember the CAG report when Manmohan Singh government was there? Can any CAG give a report today? Today, when the election commission and the electoral process is totally maligned, and their election commission has admitted that the 29 lakh votes has suddenly appeared in Maharashtra, and every petition either to the chairman, every petition either to the speaker, every petition to the election commission, and even to the Supreme Court is not recognized. The media is totally biased. So unless we recognize that, we will be beating around the bush. Congress, every time you beat Rahul Gandhi, you make him pulp. No issues with that. But at least realize कि आप जब चुनाव में जाते हैं तो आपके economic sources are dried up. The two sitting chief ministers are arrested. Unless we realize that impacts, and I'm putting my neck out that within India Gathbandhan, there are many players who are sold out, who are purchased, who are bought to tell to the people, tell to the whole world that Adani issue is not an issue at all. If Adani issue is not an issue at all, then I don't know that what issue is.
But it's not working on the ground with the public also, Ashutosh.
Who knows?
Shiv Kumar has told
Priya, let your channel, let other mainstream channel, let other newspapers dig out stories, the kind of stories were dug by journalists when the Bofors story came in. I can tell you within a week, the situation will change in this country. Within a week, where day in and day out, there is an attempt to say that Rahul Gandhi is wrong, opposition is wrong, there is hardly any story, it is not gelling. Let the CAC come out on this particular issue. Let one Supreme Court say that it has to be investigated. So it's easy to blame Congress party, blame it, because we don't want to blame ourselves, because we don't want to realize how the world has changed in this country. And they're doing everyday stories to rubbish opposition, to rubbish the people who are fighting this government.
Okay, I'm going to take a break and come back, and I'm going to get Pavan also onto this. Is corruption an issue or not? Because, we've seen, I'm going to come back and expound on this, but after a quick break. Hello and welcome back to the Roundtable. We're here discussing opposition strategy. Pavan, you wanted to come in what Ashutosh said, but also, on the issue of corruption, from the Vyapan scam to what Lalit Modi, anything that's hit the government has not stuck. Is it because they don't admit anything is wrong? Dusri side, we had the UPA. On the name of an allegation, only Sonia Gandhi used to make ministers resign, from Ashok Chavan to Shashi Tharoor. So is that strategy needs to be reworked?
No, in my view, as always, there is a middle ground between the validity of what Ashutosh is saying, and I'm sorry to put it this way, the validity of what I'm saying. Yes, there are challenges to democratic functioning. Be it the media, be it the majority that the ruling party enjoys in the Lok Sabha, be it the alleged partiality or lack of providing a level playing field of the presiding officers in the House, uh, be it also the use of agencies against the opposition. But I must confess, it is my conviction that in spite of all of this, the opposition, when it could have partially succeeded or succeeded even beyond where it is today, it has lost chances for lack of organization and uh, 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 all India image as a alternative to the BJP. Now, why do I say this? You see, when the India Alliance was formed, by the way, India was a very catchy name.
Name.
Within weeks, there were fissures within the All India Alliance. You have a situation where the Congress party is fighting the TMC in West Bengal. You have a situation where the Congress party is claiming far more seats than it can win in UP. And Akhilesh Yadav is saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm not willing to give it. There is a situation in Haryana where I know personally, and to the credit of Rahul Gandhi from my personal information, he was very keen for an alliance with the AAP party. But Mr. Huda, perhaps in his sense of confidence, felt it was not necessary. You have a situation where, Ashutosh and Rasheed may have the exact figures, but 12 to 15 seats were lost by the Congress by a margin which was what the AAP party got. Now, all I'm trying to say is that when this crisis between Kumari Selja ji and Huda was brewing, and it was very evident that it was already brewing in the past and became far more acute in the electoral process. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, well meaning, brave, says what he wants to say, was in the United States. And when he came back, it was too late to patch it up. Uh, and I don't want to go into the details of Haryana politics, but I'm very happy to do it to explain what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Similarly, in Maharashtra, I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi spent disproportionate time in Wayanad, where the victory of Priyanka Gandhi was more or less certain, and visited Maharashtra far too infrequently. And lastly, the point remains. You see, regional parties in their own local area of influence have strong organizational structures on which the Congress should, with humility, piggyback. But the Congress itself, where it is the sole adversary to the BJP, refuses to smell the coffee that it is not one leader speaking bravely and bluntly in parliament if he can or outside, but a whole organizational structure that needs to go into building from the ground level upwards an opposition to the BJP. It is just not happening. And so, in many cases, it's a walkover.
That seems to be the crux of the thing, Rashid. The Congress is also not getting its act together. Ashutosh has also raised some points. Where do what is your take?
Yeah, so I think, look, political parties face a lot of challenges, Priya, and they have to come to terms with it. To say that you see the media is hostile and media is not, it may be true, but what I'm saying is that cannot be an excuse. Priya, you Google it, you put INC TV, and see, on Adani viewership is 450. So if INC-TV, which I mean Congress own admission has 2 crores members, if their speeches and their digital platform is not watched, or Rahul Gandhi's speech is heard or seen by 6,000 people, etc., it tells you there is something wrong structurally in the Congress scheme of things. The Congress is also very, I'm saying, they like to, like I said, to happy to be unhappy, they like to be lacking that kind of hard work that is required, that Pavanji was saying about, Vineyard or so. After at the ground level, it's only candidate that does that, firefighting during the election time. There is no other thing. You see, there are no public agitation. If the public agitation is there, only 500 people turned up or 1,000 people turned up against price rise and all. So the thing is, Congress is not running any sustained campaign. See, Bharat Jodo Yatra was a good phase, but after that phase, there was no follow-up. You look at the Congress statement, they're saying we'll have a state-wise Bharat Jodo Yatra, we'll have this, we'll have this, but nothing was happened. Even after election, they said we'll have a campaign against EVM. Even Chidambaram and Shashi Tharoor are opposed to it. So, it's put on that so to say, that the back burner. What I'm saying is there is a lack of purpose. The Sangh Parivar, BJP, NDA, Kejriwal, they have a sense of purpose and their machinery works. So therefore, the Congress must, reorient itself. As I said, outsourcing elections, there is no internal election management, system.
Yeah.
What is if they are prepared to give to a poll analyst a certain amount of money, so there is no institution building on the part of Congress party. There is no think tank. See, I'm not just being critical of Congress party. I'm just pointing at avenues where some kind of thing. There is no engagement with media, with YouTubers, with those platforms which are not hostile. So they all pick on that 5, 7, 8 channels, and that is their reference point, saying that agar ye hota, agar wo hota. You see, this is not the way a political party that fought against the British. This is whole system is ridiculous. And as for the time, of course, the time period of the freedom struggle was different. Rajiv Gandhi period was different. So is this period. So every period, every decade has its own challenges. I think opposition story can become very cohesive if they start meeting and talking. Of course, Mamata Banerjee will have her sort of compulsions and ambition. So is Arvind Kejriwal and this. But to say that ये सब बिके हुए हैं, ये they all are compromised, then they should close shop and do some adhyatmic this thing, some spiritual thing, buy a land on the bank of Narmada and do this, take a chimta and do this.
Very harsh words, but perhaps
Priya.
Ashutosh, quickly, we are out of time totally. So one quick interjection.
Priya, I think we don't realize that how opposition exists in Russia's Putin's Russia and Erdogan's Turkey. Their opposition leaders are also very committed. So
No.
I'm only limited and about outsourcing. Talk to any political leader. Mamata Banerjee, what did he do? Outsourced to Prashant Kishore. Jagan Mohan Reddy outsourced to Prashant Kishore. And Arvind Kejriwal in Delhi outsourced to Prashant Kishore.
But they won.
And Akali Dal, everybody has outsourced. So,
but there's an organization on ground now.
And Priya, they won. If Congress was winning, nobody
Congress
would
has also won in Karnataka. Congress has also won in Telangana. Congress has also won in Himachal Pradesh. Congress has also done wonderfully in Rajasthan. So issue is that whether we are realizing that we have become a Putin's Russia or Erdogan's Turkey, where when the space of opposition is almost gone and everybody is scared to say the truth. That's the reality. Today when I say something, I'm look back whether somebody is watching me or not. Where are those journalists who used to send their reporters to the Switzerland and other places in Sweden and used to get out the story on a daily basis? Not one reporter has gone to the USA. Not one reporter, one organization has sent. Where is the journalism? And it's not about maybe.
Okay, last word to Pavan. You wanted to come in?
No, I just wanted to say that yes, the media could be biased, but there has been a great deal of decentralization in the media, which is not
Absolutely.
which has escaped the normal conventional thinking about media outreach. Every district, I'm talking of Bihar now, every district has independent YouTubers who make videos, upload them. They are earning and they have an audience, and their point of view can neither be censored beyond a point unless they really hit 5 million or something, but they have a viewership. It requires a strategy. Let us take for granted that the democratic space is highly challenged, that we are Putin's Russia, for instance, which I don't believe we are, but we are entitled to our own points of view. What I want to say is that the classic example of where the opposition refuses to take introspect about itself is the months after the formation of the India Alliance. They met in Bihar. Their first demand should have been, in my view, that EVMs should be replaced if they lack confidence in them.
Absolutely.
By the ballot system, the ballot paper system. No demand, no plan of action, no secretariat, no coordination committee, no seat sharing program. And then there were 4 meetings where there was excellent food served.
5-star.
No food for thought.
Okay, on that note, I really have to end. We're out of
That
time, but good points.
when you don't do enough,
Hmm.
then you have enough reasons to say that you can't do enough. And I don't believe we have reached that point.
So there is hope for more. But I will leave that for my next show. But thank you all for joining in.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.